Hey everyone, so after playing the game for so long, our challenger players have learned so much about each role and champion, and we think something that would really help you all is telling you the two main things that they wish they knew before playing the role and learning it. We've done this before for mid and jungle, so this time it's going to be the two main things McBaze wished that he knew before playing top lane. So let's not waste any time and jump right into it. The first thing that he wishes he knew about in top lane is it's a lane played entirely around slow pushes. This means multiple different things and we're going to talk about all of them. But one of the meanings is, because top is such a long lane, it lets you stack up a lot of minion waves if you push slowly. Creating a big wave has multiple benefits. It gives you a big experience advantage and a huge wave to fight for you if you trade or get ganked. This is exactly how a lot of top laners 1v2 the enemy laner and jungler. The enemy jungler ganks into a big wave and the minions are enough to turn the tide. Big wave can lead to multiple different plays as well. In high elo, top laners will stack up 3 waves, then dive the enemy top with their jungler. And just like that, the game is really difficult. And that brings us to another very important point. If the enemy top laner is slow pushing to you, you have to avoid taking bad trades, as you can be dove solo or by the enemy jungler. And if you lose all the CS from the slow push, the lane is completely done. If we look at a quick example here, McBaze is playing Renekton versus Garen. McBaze starts slow pushing and has a big wave. When he came back from warding, Garen doesn't respect it, and he gets a bit of poke onto him. Then when he finishes collecting the wave, Garen tries to trade again, and McBaze gets a bit more poke off once again. Then, after crashing the wave, Garen walks up like this, so McBaze chunks him and disengages to wait for cooldowns. Now, if he didn't go for any of those trades, he wouldn't be diveable, but since he did, McBaze knew he had enough damage to kill. So when his abilities come back up, he all-ins and dives and gets the kill. Since he's a champion with a decent amount of wave clear, he got the wave cleared as McBaze killed him, but he wouldn't have even been diveable if he had just sat back and let the wave push in. You have to keep this in mind. Alright, another way to use the slow push is for a cheater recall. All this is you stack up the first 3 waves, crash them on the tower, then recall and walk back to lane. The enemy top laner will take a while to clear it, and you come back to lane with an item advantage. The enemy laner might not be able to fight you because of it, so they would have to recall with the wave slow pushing to you, and then they would be forced to TP or lose a ton of CS. And you might be wondering, are the slow pushes really that strong? Well, take a look at this game where McBaze is playing Renekton versus Garen once again, and the early game started off really rough. McBaze dies to the last tick of Garen's Ignite at level 3, then TPs back in, and this happens. Garen's silence prevented him from using his second E when he wanted to, and he couldn't reach him for the last auto, so now he's really screwed, and tilted. But it's not over yet. He comes back to lane and immediately starts last hitting. The wave is going to slowly push to Garen and he wants to build up as big of a wave as possible. Alright, when he gets back, McBaze has a pretty big wave forming, but he's behind in items and levels, so he has to play with his wave. He doesn't just go in, he kites back into the wave when Garen gets close, ready to fight in it if he gets aggressive. He grabs the next minion to hit level 5, and when Garen walks up to trade, McBaze kites into his wave a bit so that he gets aggro, and after they both use everything, he's forced to back off, and McBaze wins the trade. That right there is the power of a slow push. Now this Garen is in kind of a bad spot since McBaze has a huge wave crashing and he's low. If it was high elo, his jungler would come dive him and top lane is completely done. But since it's low elo, that will not happen, and he has to go for the dive on his own. The problem is, he knows Garen is ahead in experience and he doesn't know exactly when he'll hit level 6. But when Garen walks up, McBaze misplays a bit here. He wanted to poke him a bit more before the dive, but he was already diveable, and because he took so much damage, now it will be dangerous to dive. But since he knows Garen is going to hit 6 soon, McBaze hits him with a Q, then backs off, and as expected, he does hit 6, so McBaze has to respect it until he's also level 6. Sadly, the enemy Kha'Zix ganks him again and kills him. The lane surely must be over, right? Well, through the power of, you guessed it, another slow push, when McBaze gets back to lane, he clears Garen's wave and tries to fight, and the slow push gives him enough damage to win the lane back. So, as you see, the slow pushes are extremely strong in top lane. When you have the slow push, you can be aggressive. When they have it, you have to be careful. Alright, moving on to the second thing that McBaze wishes he knew about top lane, and that's proper TP usage. In low elo, you guys waste TP or use it for the wrong reasons, so let's talk about this a bit. First, you have to know when to use TP back to lane. This is the most simple and common way to use it, and players are always wondering if they need to TP back to lane or just make the walk. Well, if it's in the early game, meaning levels 1 through 8, you should almost always use TP back to lane if your wave is bad. This means if you recall or die and the wave is pushing to the enemy and will freeze, causing you to miss at least 6 minions. But let's say the wave is slow pushing to you and it's at the enemy tower, then you should just walk back to lane as you won't miss any CS. So these are the most common ways of using TP, but one of the big problems in low elo is making TP plays. We see way too often one top laner TPs and then the other one does too just to join the fight. This is not good at all. This is the essence of coin flip fighting. The way to know if you should ever TP for something is simply asking, will you profit from it? Not will your team profit, just you. If you TP in and get nothing, it's a huge waste. If the enemy top TPs and you hold yours and take plates and a bunch of waves, you will get so far ahead that it could change the 1v1, and that can change the entire game very easily. And yes, this applies to Dragon as well. When a dragon fight is happening, you shouldn't TP looking to get the dragon. You should be looking to get kills. If it looks like a bad fight or like you can get more elsewhere, you don't go. If we look at this example here, McBaze runs down Garen and kills him, then starts pushing top lane and Dragon is coming up. If he goes to TP to Dragon here, his wave will slow push and he will miss all of the CS, at least 3 or 4 waves worth of gold and experience. So he's going to push all of these waves out even while his team is fighting because he sees more potential profit by collecting these waves, and with the enemy team busy at Dragon, he can dive Garen and maybe take this tower. So as he crashes the wave, he baits Garen into fighting him by hitting the tower, then just turns on his ult and kills him very quickly, as expected. He knew if he took enough damage, Garen would get confident and overchase. If McBaze TP'd to Dragon and got 3 or 4 assists, that would not even be close to what he got from the waves and killing Garen again. You have to funnel as much gold as you can onto yourself to carry games, and no matter how much you don't like it, Dragon is very often a bait. By the way, you should know where these videos come from. Our hyper improvement platform, SkillCapped, is by far the best place to be if you want to actually improve at League of Legends. You can input your rank before signing up to see where we think you'll climb to. If you don't reach that rank while actively using SkillCapped, you can claim a full refund. That's like a gym membership guaranteeing that you'll get ripped. We offer this because our service really does work, and if it doesn't, then you shouldn't pay for it. So be sure to check us out after this. As always, thanks so much for watching. We hope you enjoyed this window into this brilliant support player, and we'll see you next time.